Okay, hi everyone. Now we've prepared just a kind of a series of 2 lectures for you. Just the topic is the administrative division and regional national autonomy in the People's Republic of China. So we gotta carry on 2 lectures. The first today is devoted to the topic of administrative division, the principles of the administrative division in the People's Republic of China. We try to discuss some questions considering the principles of the administrative division in China, then some typical problems that the Chinese administrator faces in the process of administrative governing, and the newest, the latest plannings for the reforms of the administrative division in China. So, okay. First of all, I'll try to give you some kind of the connotation of the term administrative division. An administrative division or subnational entity or geopolitical division or county subdivision is a portion of a country or other political division established for the purpose of government. So administrative divisions are each granted a certain degree of autonomy. Autonomy meaning, well, the political, well, let's call it self-governing competitions. So, and the administrative divisions are required to manage themselves through their own local governments. Countries are divided up into these smaller units to make managing their land and affairs of their people easier. For example, a country may be divided into provinces, which in turn are divided into counties, which in turn may be divided in whole or in part into municipalities. These are only a few of the names given to administrative subdivisions. More examples exist. Administrative divisions are conceptually separate from dependent territories, which the former being an integral part of the state and the other being only under some lesser form of control. However, the term administrative division can include dependent territories as well as accepted administrative divisions. So each country establishes its own type of administrative divisions, establishes its own unique type of administrative regions, and so on. Some make it in quite a unique way. So today we're going to discuss the administrative division of the People's Republic of China. Well, due to People's Republic of China's large population and area, the administrative divisions of China have consisted of several levels since ancient times. So it's always been kind of multi-layer, you know. The Constitution of the People's Republic of China provides for 3 de jure levels of the government. Currently, however, there are 5 practical levels of local government, which are the province, the county, the township, and village. Not counting the state level. So, since the 17th century, provincial boundaries in China have remained largely static. Major changes since then have been the recognition of provinces in the northeast after the establishment of the People's Republic of China and the formation of the autonomous regions based on Soviet ethnic policies. The provinces serve an important cultural role in China as people tend to identify with their native province. So the Constitution of the People's Republic of China provides for 3 levels: the province, county, and township. But as I mentioned above, it actually 5 levels. So let us discuss them all. Okay. The People's Republic of China administers 34 provincial level divisions, including 23 provinces, including Taiwan. There are 5 autonomous regions, 4 municipalities, and 2 special administrative regions, which are Hong Kong and the municipality of Macau. First, provinces. Provinces are theoretically subservient to the PRC central government, but in practice provincial officials have large discretion with regard to economic policy. Unlike the United States, for example, the power of the central government was not exercised through a parallel set of institutions until the early 1990s. The actual practical power of the provinces has created what some economists call, the individualism with Chinese characteristics. Most of the provinces, with the exception of the provinces in the northeast, have boundaries which were established long ago in some Yuan, Ming or Qin dynasty. Sometimes provincial borders from cultural or geographical boundaries. This was an attempt by an imperial government to discourage some kind of, separatism and warlordism through a divide and rule policy. Nevertheless, provinces have come to serve an important cultural role in China, because people tend to identify themselves with their native provinces. So the most recent administrative changes have included the elevation of Hainan and Chongqing to provincial level status, and the creation of Hong Kong and Macau as special administrative regions. Then, the second type is the autonomous regions. It is a first-level administrative subdivision of the People's Republic of China. Like Chinese provinces, an autonomous region has its own local government, but an autonomous region has more legislative rights. An autonomous region is generally a minority entity which has a higher population of a particular minority ethnic groups. All of them are divided according to this characteristic, which kind of minority, which particular ethnic minority is dominant in a particular region. So, the Inner Mongolia, for example, the autonomous region of Inner Mongolia was established in 1947. The Xinjiang province and later the Xinjiang autonomous region was made autonomous in 1955. Guangxi and Ningxia in 1958 and Tibet in 1965. The designation of Guangxi and Ningxia as Zhuan and Hui autonomous areas respectively was bitterly protested by the local Han Chinese, for example, who made up 2/3 of the population of each region. And although Mongols made up even less of a percentage of Inner Mongolia, the ensuing Chinese Civil War gave little opportunity for protest. So the third type is municipalities. The municipalities are also translated as direct controlled municipality, are the municipalities directly under the central government or province level municipality. This is the highest level classification for cities used by the People's Republic of China. In modern China there are only 4 direct control municipalities, which are the capital city, the Peking, then Shanghai, the Tianjin and the Chongqing. So then, and the fourth type is the special administrative regions of the People's Republic of China. These are territories that fall within the sovereignty of the People's Republic of China, which do not form a part of mainland China. At present, there are 2 Chinese special administrative regions, namely the Hong Kong and the Macau. So, former British and Portuguese colonies, respectively. So they were returned to China in 1997 and 1999, pursuant to the Sino-British Joint Declaration of 1984 and Sino-Portuguese Joint Declaration of 1987. Pursuant to their joint declarations, which are binding interstate treaties registered with the United Nations and their basic laws, the Chinese special administrative regions enjoy a high degree of autonomy. So, as I mentioned above, the Chinese administrative system has kind of 5 levels. The first is provincial, and then the second is prefectural level. Prefectural level divisions are the second level of the administrative structure. Most provinces are divided into only prefectural level cities and contain no second level administrative units. Of the 23 provinces and 5 autonomous regions, only 3 provinces, these are Yunnan, Guizhou and Qinghai, and 2 autonomous regions, which are Xinjiang and Tibet, have more than 3 second level or prefectural level divisions that are not prefectural level cities. So there are 233 prefecture level divisions. Sure. So, the first, 70 prefectures, formerly the dominant second level divisions, thus the administrative level is often called prefecture level. They were mostly replaced by prefecture level cities from 1983 to 1990s. Today prefectures exist mostly in Xinjiang and Tibet. Then, the second type is the autonomous prefecture. And there are a total of 30 autonomous prefectures in China. These are prefectures with one or more designated ethnic minorities, mostly in China's western regions. Then, the third type, and this is prefecture level cities. There are a total of 283 prefecture level cities. So the largest number of prefecture level divisions generally composed of an urban center and surrounding rural areas, much larger than the urban core. And thus, these are not cities, but municipal in the strict sense of the term. So, kind of municipalities, not cities. And the fourth type is leagues. So there is a kind of tradition in China, in Inner Mongolia, the autonomous region of Inner Mongolia. There is a tradition for keeping the actual Mongolian titles for all the type of administrative divisions. In all the rest, mainly China, these are called in some Chinese manner, but in Inner Mongolia they are always called in Mongolian. So the leagues is effectively the same as prefecture, but found only in Inner Mongolia. Like prefectures, leagues have mostly been replaced with prefecture level cities. The unique name is holdover from earlier forms of administration in Mongolia. So, on this map you can see, well, this is the map of all prefectural level administrative divisions of China. As you can see, the largest are situated in the west of the country, some kind of in Tibet, Xinjiang, and Qinghai province. So, next, the third level. The third level is the council level division. Today, there are about 2,900 council level divisions in China in this division. The first, counties. There are a total of 1,488 counties in contemporary China. The most common county level divisions, which are continuously in existence since the Warring States period, much earlier than any other level of government in China. So the Chinese word xian means literally the district or prefecture. The second, autonomous counties. Today there are 117 autonomous counties in China. Counties with one or more designated ethnic minorities, analogous to autonomous regions and prefectures. Third type is county level cities. Similar to prefecture level cities, covering both urban and rural areas. It was popular for countries to become county level cities in the 1990s, though this has since been halted. Fourth type, the districts, which are formerly the subdivisions of urban areas, consisting of built-up areas only. Recently, many counties have become districts, so that districts are now often just like counties with towns, villages, and farmlands. Then, fifth, the banners. Again, one of the Mongolian types of administrative division. Banner the same as counties, except in the name, a holdover from earlier forms of administration in Mongolia. Next, autonomous banners. Also the same as autonomous counties, except in the same holdover from earlier forms of administration in Mongolia. And then two specific types of administrative division, which are very rarely seen. The first is a forestry area, special county level forestry district located in Hubei province. And also China has three special districts, special county level divisions, exclusively located in Guizhou province and Tibet Autonomous Region. On this map you can see the full scheme of county-level subdivisions in China. So as you can see, there are quite many of them. Many of them can't be seen on this map now. So, and the fourth level, township level subdivisions. So, today there are quite many kind of townships and ethnic townships, towns and sub-districts in China. The total number is variable because it always changes. Some cities are just established, some cities are abolished or connected to the others. But currently, the township level subdivision includes different types of administrative regions. First, townships. Today there are about 13,700 townships. Township is a smaller rural area division, and they are divided into the subject. The second is ethnic townships, which are about 1,000 total in China. In small one or more designated ethnic minority rural areas division, they are divided into this subject. Then towns. In larger rural areas division, we are divided into this subject. Then sub-districts, small urban areas division, they are divided into this subject. And also some district public offices. These are vestigial level of government. These ones represented an extra level of government between the country and township levels. Today there are very few of these remaining, and they are gradually being phased out. Then, China also has sumus and ethnic sumus. The sumu is also a Mongolian term, and sumus are the same as township but are unique to Inner Mongolia. And ethnic sumus, which is, well, should be pronounced maybe as sumu because there's only one type of this division in the whole China. The same as ethnic township, but unique to Inner Mongolia too. And the fifth level is village level. It serves as an organizational level and does not have much importance in political representative system. Basic divisions like neighborhoods and communities are not informal like in the West, but have defined boundaries and designated as one per area, usually. In urban areas, every sub-district of a city administers many communities or neighborhoods. Each of them have a neighborhood committee to administer the dwellers of that neighborhood of community. Rural areas are organized into village communities or villager groups. A village is, in this case, can either be a natural village, one that spontaneously and naturally exists, or an administrative village, which is a bureaucratic entity. Today, there are a total of 80,000 neighborhoods and community committees, which are divided into some communities and villages. It is not possible to depict on the map because they are very small. So, now a couple of words about how the whole system works. Actually, this kind of administrative division system is very complicated. Unlike the Russian Federation, the China has much more levels of administrative division, a total of 5. So, on each level there is a local administrator which is subordinate to that of the level above. So, villages have kind of local administrators which are subordinate to the township administrators. Township administrators have its own administrators which are subordinate to the county administrators. The county administrators are subordinate to the prefecture administrators. And the prefecture administrators are subordinate to the central power. This kind of system produces many kind of problems and troubles, including the problems with corruption, problems with administration, inconvenience, and so on. That is why today the administrative division system in China is proceeding kind of reformation period. Let us talk about this. Due to all these troubles in recent years, there have been calls to reform the administrative divisions and levels of China. So the abolishment of district public offices, for example, is an ongoing reform to remove an extra level of administration from between the county and township levels. There have also been calls to abolish the prefecture level. And some provinces have transferred some of the power prefectures, abolish the prefecture level. And they just transfer some of the power prefectures currently hold to the counties they govern. There are also calls to reduce the size of the provinces. The ultimate goal is to reduce the different administration levels from 5 to 3. So provincial, county and village. This way reducing the amount of corruption that goes on in between and reducing the number of government workers in order to reduce the budget. You know, China experiences some kind of lack of budget lately. Although actual proposals differ in their details, many of the proposals contain 5 main points. So, here are they. First, the proposal of redrawing the provinces. Well, the current province boundaries of China were mostly drawn during the Yuan, Ming and Qing dynasties and are criticized by some as relics or a divide and rule policy that prevailed during those times. Current provinces frequently transcend major cultural and geographical divides, encompassing areas that have little in common. Just, for example, some areas of traditional dwelling of some ethnic minorities that have less or nothing in common, actually. On the other hand, many cultural blocks, such as the Yangtze Delta, the Huai watershed, or the Hakka lands, are divided along boundaries that do not actually indicate any geographical or cultural divide. Proponents for drawing provinces boundaries believe that boundaries should be redrawn to better reflect cultural and geographical divides, which would in turn help to reduce conflicts within provinces, promote regional cooperation, and increase administrative efficiency. Opponents of this, on the other hand, point to the fact that despite disparities within provinces, these boundaries have remained more or less stable for many centuries, and it is actually so. And they form an important part of identity for all Chinese. Opponents also doubt whether realigning provinces' borders to cultural boundaries would really help in promoting regional cooperation, or simply lead to increasing regionalism, or maybe even more, some kind of separatist tendencies. And as you may know, the separatist tendencies are too much of a serious business in modern China. The second proposal is the proposal of making the provinces smaller. Proponents point to the size of current provinces such as Henan, Shandong, and Sichuan, all of which have populations of close to 100 million people. It is said that such enormous size puts a staggering burden on provincial governments, resulting in inefficiency and poor responsiveness to grassroots needs and desires, as well as inability to concentrate on specific areas of development. In addition, some proponents of province shrinking believe that the current size of larger provinces has given them too much bargaining power with the central government and a negative influence on the territorial integrity of China. Well, speaking about the territorial integrity of China, well, I should say that this kind of question has always been one of the main problems for the Chinese inner policy, because of the very, complicated and kind of heavy ethnic relations. China always faced some kind of regionalist or separatist tendencies. So many of the reformations or some kind of policies are driven by the interests of the national integrity of the People's Republic of China. So, opponents of province shrinking believe that increasing the number of provinces would simply increase the inefficiency of governmental bureaucracy. They also believe that smaller provinces would make the coordination of pan-regional efforts more difficult and consequently affect economic development. Moreover, they believe that current provinces are important parts of identity for individual Chinese and should not be tampered with. Then, the third and the most discussed reformation proposal nowadays is abolishing the prefecture level. This proposal has recently gathered quite a lot of popularity. The reasons are based on the history of the prefectures. By the Constitution of China, provinces are supposed to govern counties directly, and prefectures, autonomous one excepted, are neither mentioned nor endorsed. So when prefectures were originally being set up, they were an unofficial quasi-level to help provinces govern very large numbers of counties. As a result, prefectures are, unlike provinces or counties, often seen as nothing more than bureaucratic institutions. However, the Constitution does allow for some cities which are constitutionally guaranteed level of administration to be prefecture level, in the sense that they can take surrounding countries under them. Though the original intention was likely to have just a few very large cities in each province be prefecture level cities. So prefecture level cities that govern only the counties in their immediate suburbs. The rest of each province would still consist of counties under unofficial prefectures. This was in fact the general situation before the 1990s. It was like that, then the situation has changed. In recent years, however, there has been a trend to replace prefectures wholesale with prefecture-level cities. This takes advantage of the ambiguous wording in the Constitution and basically turns unofficial prefectures overnight into official levels endorsed in the Constitution. This process took place very fast. Most provinces now govern all or most of their counties through only prefecture-level cities. In other words, an extra level of government has been inserted into the administrative division system. Proponents of reform say that this twist in events undermines the entire administrative structure in China by sneaking in an extra level out of nowhere. More levels, they argue, lead to more corruption, more government spending, then more inefficiency and idleness, and greater distance between the grassroots and the government. In addition, they claim that this arrangement overemphasizes prefecture capitals, because now they can claim nominally and legally to be the entire prefecture, actually. And they argue that this has given prefectures license to sap resources that would otherwise go directly to counties. This is, well, in turn, extenuates regional conflicts and rich gain. Also, if provinces are shrunk as well, then there is even less need left for any prefecture at all to exist. After all, they only exist because provinces are too large. Still, there are some opponents of this change. They believe that it is unrealistic to expect any change to come to current provincial boundaries, and hence prefectures are here to stay, at least in the short term. Moreover, they claim that the sheer size of provinces, which according to them do not need to be shrunk, means that prefectures are needed as an intermediary level. Finally, they defend the establishment of prefecture-level cities by arguing that it helps in encouraging urbanization and cooperative development of entire regions. So this problem is somewhat like this. Okay, then the fourth. The first reform proposal is increasing the size of counties and townships. The abolishment of district public offices is part of this reform, actually. Originally set up as an intermediate level to help counties deal with very large numbers of towns and townships, they are now being phased out, and towns and townships are being enlarged to partially fill their place. In effect, this reform is already being carried out in most parts of the country. In addition, there are proposals to merge smaller countries together at all. Proponents of this believe that the sheer size of the Chinese bureaucracy and hence the sheer amount of resources that it consumes is due to the extraordinary number of counties and townships, and they believe that the number can be reduced. But opponents of this believe that the population density of China, which is very large, especially in the eastern regions, means that the tiny counties and townships are needed for effective government. They also claim that any drastic change to grassroots level government would have adverse effect on social stability. And this is quite a point because one of the special characterizations of China's administrative division is the very large gap between the population density in west and east. So the population is very dense in some of the eastern provinces, and well, not so much dense in the west. So, and the fifth one is bypassing the provincial hierarchy. Another reform is to have certain institutions of the central government from institutions which completely bypass the number of provincial hierarchies. The model for this is federal institutions of the United States of America, strangely. And the purpose is to prevent provincial and local interference in some functions of the central government. The military area commands of the People's Liberation Army have long been administered in this fashion precisely to prevent local officials from exercising control and influencing over the military. One recent example of this reform has been the People's Bank of China, which in 1999 abolished all provincial and local branches, creating regional districts which do not correspond to provincial boundaries. A similar reform has been suggested for the judicial system, creating circuit and district courts which do not correspond to provincial boundaries to reduce corruption and government payroll. So all of these reformation proposals are now discussed in the Chinese parliament. As you may know, not so long ago there have been some kind of re-election in the Chinese legislative powers and so on. So now the political course of the Chinese leaders has now just proceeded through some changes. Now all of these proposals are discussed heavily. These are kind of the 5 main problems that exist in the administrative system of China. So now I'm through with this. If you have some question, we may now discuss it.